Destin Whipple here again with VOSH Arizona. This is the video on refraction. So this is going to be station 6, usually after triage. And so here's just a couple tips that may be helpful when you spend time in refraction. Usually it's going to be optometrists and optometry students. And I usually when I do this before dilation is ideal. I have found sometimes it's important to be a little bit more patient. In my clinic, people I've seen for years and years, they kind of know the refraction process. They're used to the questions I'm asking them, which is better 1 and 2 and all that. And it is fairly simple. Sometimes these people that we see in Mexico, they've never had an eye exam before. They've never gone through the refraction process at all. So remember that because sometimes it may be helpful to give just a little bit of an explanation or have your translator help a little bit. Also, sometimes people, they will give little hand signals, I've noticed, up and down, or that's better, that's worse. Anyways, so, you kind of just have to be a little bit more flexible. Sometimes I will go up 2 or 3 clicks to see if they can tell, yeah, it's definitely getting worse or better. And then maybe the other way, sequentially instead of back and forth so much. You can try that and see if that's helpful sometimes. Also, don't be afraid to do retinoscopy. That can be really helpful in certain cases. Occasionally, I might have somebody come back after ocular disease when they're dilated, and I might recheck their prescription if I feel like that's needed. That's not something I do very often, but occasionally that might be helpful. Okay, and then I think the other item here that we want to really emphasize is with our clinic this year, we've decided to limit the refraction, the prescriptions, the size of prescriptions that we will fill. The reason we've done this is because we want to help, we want to make the biggest impact, and we want to help the most people, that really need help. So we've decided that we're not going to fill anything less than a 1 diopter prescription, plus or minus, and kind of a spherical equivalent is a good rule of thumb there. So our 0.75s we're not going to be filling, and so let's talk a little bit about that. So I have a few examples here. Number 1, if you're getting a diopter sphere plus 75 for each eye, we're just not going to fill that. If they're really having trouble, we can probably dispense our lowest over-the-counter readers, and that will probably get them by a 1 or 1.25. But I think most people with a plus 75 are not going to usually be complaining anyways. So our second example is a minus 0.75 diopter sphere. So with these folks, again, if there's no complaint at all, great. We just, move on and say they don't need glasses, and send them on to ocular health for their eye health examination, ocular disease. If they are complaining, or if the parents, if you're examining a child and the parents are saying, hey, they can't see the board and those kind of things, just politely explain that, the size of prescription that we're filling here, this is too low. Yeah, they might struggle a little bit in the back of class, so please talk to the teacher and see if they can move in the front of class. And then also another option that we have is usually there's a separate sheet that we will give each patient with their glasses prescription. So you can go ahead and write out that minus 0.75 prescription, or minus 0.5 perhaps, and just say it's too low for us to fill here, but you can go to your local optical and get it filled there. Okay, example number 3, I'm just kind of going over spherical equivalent here. So spherical equivalent, you're basically taking the sphere and then half the cylinder and adding it together. So +1 minus 1/4, or so is going to be a plus 0.75. So these ones also are essentially the same as a 0.75 or a little bit below a 1. So we would not be filling this prescription either, okay? Here's number 4, another example, minus 0.5, minus 0.5. So the spherical equivalent is going to be a minus 0.5 plus a minus 0.25, which is a minus 0.75 or thereabouts with the left eye there. So again, less than minus 1. So this prescription we would not be filling as well. Okay, one last example here, number 5. This one in the right eye, they're at 0.5, which is below a 1, but their left eye is definitely over a 1. So this is one we can fill. We want to help this person out. Their left eye definitely needs some help. And in 2, with the younger folks, if you're doing children, much higher than this is an amblyogenic factor. And so we want to help prevent amblyopia. So, you know, if it's a minus 4 in the one eye or a minus 6 and it's almost plano in the other, you know, we definitely want to still fill those types of prescriptions. We definitely can help out that person as compared to a 0.75 in both eyes. I think those are the main things for refraction that we wanted to go over. Looking forward to seeing you there